We're here to solve this even-odd Sudoku by Swaroop Guggilam. One thing whenever I see an even-odd puzzle is to start to at least track where there are a whole lot of cells of the same shape, and in this corner, for instance, we have all the evens effectively marked. I would tend not to actually put these in, but just for this video, with a 6 already in the box and 3 other evens in, the remaining cells are all odd. And where we actually have 1 and 3 seeing the cell is 7 as well, 7 and 9 there, we actually have the case that there's only the option for a 5 there and 1 and 3 in that space. In this lower corner, this other corner, we have 3 odds marked, but we also have 2 odds already in the grid. And so this is a case where we have all the remaining cells in that corner being forced as even. And what that really means is this looks to be a 2-4, this looks to be a 4-6, this looks to be a 2-6. Ideally, we can do more of that pretty soon. Other things as we keep going up the columns or across the rows, like it actually turns out in this row, we actually start with 4 squares. So we know for sure all of the even digits and the remaining ones are odd. So we can go through and at least put in the remaining odd numbers in some of these spots that may be helpful. And this actually looks to have all of its options still available. So other things to do then are just scan some of the more constrained spaces. Again, look for repeated digits. For instance, see 2 9s in this column. I'm coming down to this box. I have to place a 9, but I've got an even cell as a blocker, which is going to help. I have 8s coming down with just one option. I'm trying to see if there's other things to do really. Like the 2 odds are potentially pretty forcing. Actually, the 2 odds marked give me a forced 6, which gives me another forced 6 just above. We still need to get some evens and odds in these spaces, so I'm looking over here for where the other odds can go, and they have to dodge the squares, but there are still options like the 1 can go in these cells, the 7 can go in these cells. I don't have more than the 5 in one of these options, so there's not as much to notate there. Over here, the evens are the more constrained, at least with what's in the circles, and so I need to place an 8 somewhere, and this is the only cell that's left for an 8. Just give me an 8 note, and the 6 is going to be somewhere in these cells. Having marked that 8, though, I'm going to look vertically and see that where I had 3 potential cells for it, I've got an odd cell. I have an odd cell because of the row, and I have one left cell that can take an even, so that's here, and that's going to remove the 8 from this option, put an 8 into one of these 2 cells, and put an 8 up here. Notice that now it gives me 2 squares in this box that are 2 and 6, and the 6 can't go in the bottom one, so 6 is here, 2 is here. That finishes this. We have 2, 8 as the remaining options here, and the last even for this row is a 4, which comes down here and puts in a 2, which puts in a 6, which puts in a 4. Tracking that way to the right, we get a 4 coming in here. Let's not overrun our progress. We put the 6 in, but let's look at the 6 vertically. The 6 vertically gives a single place for a 6 here, and this is the last cell because of an even just below. Take a 6. Coming then over across with that 6, that eliminates the 6, which puts in a 6, which puts in a 7, puts in a 1. That's pretty good. The remaining evens here are 4 and 2, which gives 2 and 8, which gives 8 down here. Got a single 5. I put in this 1, so I got 1 and 3. That 1 gives me another 1. I've got 2, 4 left to go here, and 2 is above the 4 because of the 2 already in the row. Placing in that 2, I want to place a 2 in this box. Placing in this 4, I want to place a 4 in this box. Those will help fill me in. Last 4 for this whole puzzle, last 2. Actually, there's a 2 up in the upper left as well. I think we've got almost all the evens in the grid except for these 8 notes, and so we're now just looking at odds, and we can really just focus on Sudoku steps from here. Got 3, 5, 7 to place in this bottom space, and 5 and 7 are already in the row. That makes this as the last spot for a 1. That puts a 1 up here. Tracking to the top space, actually 1 can go in both of those cells, but now that I'm looking at this row, I'm coming back here and seeing that this 3 now eliminates all options but a 9 from that cell, which puts in this 9, which now forces this cell up top to be a 9 because of the 9 over there, which puts in this 9, which puts in this 9. That now gives this as the last 3 for this row, and last 7, which is the last digit in that row. This 5 is the last digit there, but that 5 gives a 5, which gives a 5. We have the 3 from the right canceling the top, and so the only digits left in the space are 1 and 7. We're going to put though down this 7, this 3, that gives this 3. We have 8, 7 up top, 7 with 8, 8 and 6. We have 3, 5, and those 3 above, 5 there, 5 pushes 7, pushes 7, pushes 7, pushes 1, pushes 1, pushes 3. So a lot of using the even odd shapes to get started on this, and then just some Sudoku steps through the end. Hopefully you've got a picture of how to find some of the constrained sections of the grid. A lot of this is from the hand constructing that Swaroop is doing, sort of places where only evens go or where last space for odds go. Definitely seeing how these boxes influence here, how these boxes influence here, even how you have all the evens in this row. If you're doing this on paper, you may, for instance, be circling other cells or squaring other cells. It can help to mark forced odd or forced even cells in puzzles like this. So I hope you enjoyed seeing this solve, and we'll see you again soon.